Yeah, no.
Oh, hey.
shit.
Hey, we're
Cut the
live.
music a little.
¡Sujétate! ¡Vuela, vuela! ¡No te hace falta equipo!
And we're banned on YouTube.
What a wildly different opening. I miss when we had the standard opening. You know.
Yeah, but I'm enjoying this.
I get it.
Have it.
I'm just saying,
That,
I miss
that's an actual scene from the movie, by the way.
Yeah, I remember it.
Yeah.
A scene from which movie?
From The Flash.
Oh, God. Look, all I know is that already knowing this movie was going to be a shit show, okay? People were mad about the cameos. And I'm like, yeah, those cameos are going to be dumb. And now people have zeroed in. They are specifically mad about the cameo with George Reeves. And I'm like, oh, God, they did a cameo with George Reeves? No!
Who's George Reeves?
All right, Christopher Reeves was the 70s Superman. George Reeves, who's not related, was the Superman from the 1950s on the black and white TV show.
Oh, right.
The one who self-removed.
Dude, my favorite cameo was Nicolas Cage's Superman, and I swear to God that was in the movie.
Did they actually do it?
Yeah, they.
Oh my God, no!
And he got the longest cameo out of every single Superman. He was on the screen for like a minute and a half, and it was amazing. It was amazing, Rune.
Look, I understand why they might do that. I'm not going to say that's the best creative decision.
No, it was the best part of the whole movie. And it was like the long hair, the stills we've seen from the test footage.
Here's the thing. If that's the best part of the movie, then you're telling me the rest of the movie must be some kind of rancid horse diarrhea.
Yes. But okay, second best part. The best part was when they threw a bunch of CGI babies and a dog out of a hospital window that the Flash had to save. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen.
I saw the clip of Ezra Miller's Flash putting a baby in a microwave, and I thought, oh, they just filmed Ezra Miller's Weekend. Okay.
Yeah. But anyways, we'll get into me talking about it in depth later.
No, I think that's our opening subject. So please tell us about Ezra Miller and the Flash. Yeah, we're live. Do your job, Ayrton.
So Ezra Miller is hands down the worst part, and there's two of him, and because it's a riff on the Flashpoint storyline, which they've done 1,000 movies for, and
the animated bit.
And it was done in the TV series, The Flash / Green Arrow. Probably better.
Oh, 1,000
And the animated movie. Well, the animated movie was better than that. So.
Well, yeah, the animated movie was probably the best out of all of them. But there was just, it was so awful. So he goes back to stop his mother from being murdered, and then as he's trying to come back, what did they call them? The Speed Force demon things. You know what?
Revenant.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
So one of them knocks him back into the timeline earlier than he was supposed to come back, and he then meets his 18-year-old self like the day before he's supposed to get his powers. And his 18-year-old college self, he plays even more annoying, if you can imagine that's possible.
Time Revenant.
Time Remnant. And then so he has to convince his alternate college self to get struck by lightning so he can get powers. Then he loses his powers. Then they go to find Bruce Wayne, which turns out to be
Michael Keaton.
Yes, Michael Keaton, who actually did really good. I really enjoyed his performance.
Well, it's Michael Keaton dealing with the last remaining bits of his trauma. I suppose we'll call it.
Well, so they go to Wayne Manor, and he's kind of like a hermit and stuff. And he's I think he's supposed to be drunk, but he still beats. Well, he beats actual Barry up because he doesn't have powers anymore. And it's great watching Ezra Miller get kicked in the face and hit with a broom and shit.
You just want to see Ezra Miller get beaten, is what you're saying?
Yeah. So they convince Batman to help them find Clark because it's at the same time as when Man of Steel is supposed to be happening. So Zod just appeared on Earth,
Right.
and then
Did they get Zod's actor back, or did they just?
They did.
Okay, they didn't just port him in with electrons.
Right. Well, then they find out there's an alien being that crashed on Earth that's being held in the Russia at a top secret facility. They break in. It's not Clark. It's Kara. And it turns out Clark's pod was actually intercepted by Zod, and they killed him as a baby. And they rescue Supergirl, and they do all their fighting stuff. They eventually get Barry his powers back. I forgot about that part. They get his powers back.
Here's the thing.
Much in the same way they did in the cartoon movie Church.
You were just talking.
He just like ties.
Here's the thing. You were just talking about.
Go ahead.
Nick Cage appearing as a cameo in this, and I was talking about how that was a bad thing, but I will mention this. I would put up with a terrible long hair Nick Cage Superman if we could just get Kevin Spacey as Brainiac, because I'd rather have Brainiac.
When I say cameo, Rune.
Yeah.
So what's happening is so they do all this fighting. Kara gets killed. Young alternate Flash goes into the Speed Force, into the time bubble thing to go back to try and save her, and she gets killed again, and it happens over and over. And then Barry's like, hey, this is a nexus point. You can't change this. And he keeps trying. And the more he tries, the more it destabilizes the multiverse.
Well,
so the
we've been told by our God and Savior Miguel O'Hara that you're not supposed to change canon events.
Right.
Because then Spider-Man has to get kneed in the neck.
So the multiverse starts imploding on like in the Speed Force, and you get like glimpses of different universes,
right?
And different universes heroes. So by cameo, it's literally just like animation of Nicolas Cage as Superman just fighting off something. Like he doesn't actually talk or do anything.
Right, he was fighting Kevin Spacey's Brainiac.
So it's like barely a cameo, but
that's what
it was still the best part.
That's what I'm saying though. Kevin Spacey was supposed to be Brainiac in the Nick Cage Superman, and I could stand to have that. Because you know what? We're never going to get Brainiac in film, just like you're not going to get a good Starro in film. It's just not going to happen.
But that's essentially the film. And then he goes back and fixes things, yada, yada, yada. And then he calls Bruce and like, hey, Bruce, I kind of fucked up and stuff. And he's like, yeah, I'm pulling up right now. And he pulls up and he gets out and it's George Clooney instead of Ben Affleck. And then Ezra Miller goes like, what the fuck? And then
something end game, something nothing happens, something nothing matters.
Yeah, exactly. It was so dumb. The CGI was terrible. I don't care what macaroni and cheese says. It's terrible.
Well, can we remember before they bury it that the one of the people in charge of Warner Brothers just fucking quit, not just stepped down, not just moved on to other projects, publicly fucking said, I'm out, this is a garbage fire.
But yeah, it was I didn't bother watching the like mid-credit scene or any of that shit. I mean, I just didn't care.
I mean, it won't matter. Ultimately.
Right, exactly. Yeah, ultimately it literally does not matter because the DCEU like Snyder verse, whatever the fuck, like it's over. They're starting entirely brand new. They literally just released this movie because they essentially shot it twice and spent a ton of money on it and we're like, fuck it, we might as well put it out.
They had already eaten what was it, Batwoman, Batgirl, Bat.
Yeah.
Girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, they already ate Batgirl. They couldn't afford to eat the Flash too.
Right.
Well, here's my thing. So we've got this article here. Flash's visual effects are meant to look like that. How bad were they, Ayrton?
Do you remember what like Crash Bandicoot on the PS2 looked like?
Yeah.
It's slightly better than that.
So one thing most superhero movies have going for them is you know how they should look. When Batman, Spider-Man, Iron Man put on their suits, the world around them doesn't change. With the Flash, though, when Barry puts on a suit and taps into his power, the world around him does change, at least to Barry. Figuring out what's going on looks like one of the challenges of adaptation.
No,
We'll see
you
that
know,
play
and
out
you know
in-
who did, you know who did that well? The CW show.
Yeah.
so okay, this argument doesn't stand to water for 3 reasons. One of which is the CW show. Okay, but I'm gonna take the even harder strike here. It doesn't stand to water because the early '90s Flash series exists.
You
There's
mean
also
the
that.
only Flash series they've ever put on TV? The one
Yeah,
on the Sci-Fi Channel.
the only one that exists. But
Right.
also,
I mean,
also,
it ran for what, 40-something years?
something like, yeah.
All the way
But-
into Grant Gustin being the Flash?
But then there's another reason that stands out very starkly, and that's called Quicksilver was made.
Right.
Okay?
That too.
We saw how this was done with another speedster in another franchise excellently, and everyone fucking wet their pants over it. Right? You want to define the Flash as being different. Sure, fine. He has his orange electric boogaloo zap line. Right? Fine. Okay? But I'm sorry, there are only so many ways to physically represent going faster than everything and not just have a big blur on the screen. Right?
Right.
If you're gonna, sure, do the fucking slow-mo. Master it. Own it. Do the same thing. It won't hurt you. Trying to reinvent the wheel every time is why Sonic the Hedgehog can't have a successful fucking franchise. Don't fuck up the Flash.
Right. And that was the thing I kept thinking, because I mean, I haven't watched the Flash TV show since, like, I don't know, maybe season 3, like
I
when
watched
it was
2
first
episodes.
airing.
I watched 2 episodes, and none of my complaints were the quality of the FX. The visuals of everything was fine. I didn't like it because it was boring as shit.
Yeah, well, yeah, it had that CW curse to it, but I just kept thinking back to that, though. They did the same story. Grant Gustin was way better of an actor as Barry Allen, and the effects were better. Like, and the suit looked better than that too. Like the suit in this is also extremely stupid, but like the mask, which is like a helmet. I don't know if you can see in the image well enough. It looks like a hard helmet, but he like presses a button on his suit and it deflates off of his head, and it's really weird. It doesn't make any sense. And then for some reason, like when he
the suit
starts
looks
to
like
run,
ass. And,
yeah, when he
you know,
starts,
I don't know if you remember.
Well,
They
I
said
think-
in the original. Hold on, they said in the original movie that he was introduced in, which I think was Batman v Superman. They
thought it
said
was
that was
Justice
intention. Was
Yeah.
it Justice League?
I think so.
But they said they meant for it to look like that because it was supposed to be something that he had to make himself.
Well,
and I'm like,
Yeah.
Spider-Man's homemade suit looked better than this.
well,
And it was
2
a screen
things.
printed pajama set.
Okay, here's two things. One, I think that clip right there is actually from Justice League, because they're at the Superman Memorial bringing Superman back from the dead. Okay, but 2, there's a perfect example of the problem, right? Because if we go back to Sam Raimi and we go back to Spider-Man 1 and we go back to Tobey
Here
Maguire,
we go. Got it.
right? Spider-Man's homemade suit looks like a homemade suit. What kid on a budget made that shit?
There you go.
Yeah. So look
Found
at
it.
this rune. Yeah. So
Okay.
one, see
It looks
those
like he
weird
got beaten
lines?
up in Portugal.
Yeah. So see those see those weird lines, right?
Yeah.
So for some inexplicable reason, those glow when he starts to run.
Right.
The eye holes, like lenses, come down over him when he activates his powers to protect
Okay.
his eyes,
And
even though
he made
his
this.
whole body. No, presumably Batman made it for him and gave it to him because he's working with Batman.
Okay.
But so for some reason he has to have lenses over the eyes. I don't know why. And then again, he presses a button and like that whole mask will just fall off. And then he also has it's like a metabolism reader on his suit, so he can measure how much energy he still has, and as it gets low, he'll just go steal food from people. Like, you can't tell that you're hungry. You need a gauge on your suit to tell you that you're fucking hungry.
That's called ticking clock.
This is what the Flash looks like in the new movie.
That's a Hollywood
This
thing.
is
In Hollywood, anytime they introduce a gauge or a timer or a clicker of some sort, so that you can track progression, it's supposed to artificially create the sense of how dire everything is. So, like, if the Flash is
but
pushing
he only
himself
uses
harder,
it once.
right?
He only uses it in the scene where he's saving the CGI babies,
Right,
which is at the beginning of the movie.
But see, you're operating on the premise that this is going to be made by someone who knows what the fuck they're doing.
They talk about this in the article, actually. And the one we're going to focus on is the opening action sequence when Ezra Miller runs to Gotham City to help Ben Affleck from a falling building. As this happened, an entire nursery of babies fall out of a window. First and foremost, how the fuck does that happen?
Well, the hospital is like super tall, and that section of it starts to collapse into a sinkhole, and yeah, so the babies fly out of the window, and it's hilarious.
Well, they invoke the term water world when they talk about Barry's perspective of how shit looks.
That's not a good idea.
I'm already out. And there you have it. If you see the Flash and wonder, wait, are those visual effects real? Did they finish that? The answer is, whether you love it or hate it, is yes, they did. It was done on purpose, and the filmmaker's intention was to make sure that the Flash sees is different from what a normal person would see. Plus, in terms of the opening, it also has the side effect of making the sight of babies falling to their death feeling slightly less dramatic.
The other thing I will say, they did give Ben Affleck's Batman like the gray suit with the like bluish cowl and cape. That was kind of cool.
Yeah,
I will say, I did like that. That was a nice touch.
Oddly enough, the progression of DC films going all the way back to Batman '89 nicely dovetails the life cycle of comics, from credible idea to commercial products to laughably bad to revivalist to parody of itself,
or cringe. We could call the final step cringe.
Well, because that's the era we're living in now. We're literally living in the you know how they have all the ages: Iron Age, Silver Age, Dark Age, blah blah blah. We're living in the cringe age, the age of cringe. Because comics can't be good, superheroes can't be interesting. They have to be funny, and that funniness is supposed to be awkward, but the awkwardness doesn't land well, so it just comes off as cringy.
Well, yeah, because these people have never actually like studied proper like awkward satire.
Well, see, because here's the thing: there's a Punisher comic, and I know we're not supposed to talk about the Punisher because Punisher doesn't exist anymore at Marvel. There's a Punisher comic where the Punisher literally encounters a bad guy who has covered himself in babies.
Oh, right? Yeah.
And the thing is that's supposed to be like dire and devilish, because holy shit, Frank Castle can't hurt all these innocent babies, right? I'm sorry, I never thought that was funny. I always thought that was fucking retarded. Okay, so now here we are. We have to present a problem for the Flash to save the day, to set up our film, and to show the bona fide is that the Flash is a good guy. And somebody in the writing room, you can just imagine, they snorted their cocaine off the back of a ladyboy, and they were like, so like, what if the Flash like saved an orphanage of babies? Like an entire orphanage was going to explode of babies.
Yeah, there we go.
And that's not funny. That's dumb. That is solid dumb.
It's kind of funny.
It's a little funny. I mean, duct taping babies to yourself to beat the Punisher is kind of like the premise is kind of funny.
Well,
I'm going to disagree with you.
It's not funny, but in principle, it's hilarious.
To cut them some slack for the Punisher baby suit, I believe the writer in question, who was actually a Punisher Max writer working on regular comics, feels that the Punisher's quest has an element of black humor. To cut the truly dire context of things that are going on, they kind of make some jokes. Like, I know you guys all know who the Russian is because he was in the Tom Jane movie. The Russian got killed. The Russian got brought back. The Russian was a horrifying transgender monster in a dress.
You're not allowed to say that during Pride Month, Rune.
But it's true.
The
It's 100%
Gestapo is
true.
going to come take you away tonight.
They can attack me for facts all they want. I'm just saying, if you're talking about a Kazakhstan outhouse that's all of 8 foot tall with a giant pair of tits in a dress, beating Frank Castle to death, that's exactly what that is.
Which is also kind of funny.
Right. It's got an element of ridiculous black humor to it.
Yeah.
Does that mean that it's funny all the time? No, and that's the thing. Comedy comes in threes, then you gotta let it rest, otherwise it breaks.
Right. And like I said, initially when the babies go flying out the window is like I legitimately laughed while I was sitting here watching it. And then it got so just ridiculous. I was like, what the fuck are they doing?
The problem with regards to the film is you're at that point where first of all, that is not the picture of the Russian. I don't know where that's from, but that is horrifying. Carry on.
Good.
Good. But the thing is that I have to put it to you because of how deeply Warner Brothers has screwed up. Is it funny because it's funny, which we hope it is, right? Or is it funny, again, because you imagine this is what Ezra Miller does on his weekends? That Ezra Miller endangers babies so he can put them in microwaves.
It was funny in the essence.
Yep, there we go. I've got that book.
Of like you're not expecting you're expecting him to have to save the babies, but you're not expecting it to happen in the way that they animated it to happen. And so it just like throws you off, and it's kind of like a what the fuck sort of funny.
Like a baby out of a hospital window off.
The thing is that this is a problem that I find actually paints the entirety of the Schneider-influenced DCEU environment, right? Because I find the scene in, I want to say it's Justice League, where Gal Gadot fights the bank robbers, utterly laughable because they're all dressed like a fucking 5-man band of a cappella performers, right? They're all in dark suits with fedoras for some fucking reason, right?
It's very ridiculous.
And then you've got
Hi, Miss Rena.
hi, Miss Rena. You've got oh Jesus, I'm trying to dig because there's so many examples and trying to find the good ones is hard. But you just end up looking at yourself going, are they trying to be a parody?
Well, that's always been the thing with Snyder. Like the attempted purposeful humor never works. Right.
But then it's like
when he tries to be serious, it's so stupid. It makes you laugh.
But then I saw Aquaman in theater. A friend took me to see Aquaman. Right. I didn't pay for it. It was fun. Okay. Jason Momoa is great. Whether you like Momoa or not is subjective. Black Manta's parts were amazing. Right. But the parts with everything else, with Seamaster, with Dolph Lundgren, with floaty hair, with Willem Dafoe, with the fact that apparently Atlantis underwater turns you into fucking Tron,
Yeah.
right? Is
Oh,
laughable.
Miss Rena, I just got done doing my quick review of the Flash movie, and now we're discussing
Yeah.
DC movies in
you know,
general.
I find it fucking hilarious that in the Black Adam movie, the ultimate bad guy is a rubber red demon man. Because they
I
want
did enjoy that.
Well, because they want you to believe that this is a major threat. This non-specifically Mid-Eastern angry man who is a terrorist has acquired magical power and decided of all the forms he could take, he was going to take the form of discount diet Jack Scratch.
Yeah.
Like, really?
No, the Flash movie isn't good, Rena. What kind of
You know, well, especially because
question is that?
This is especially true because then when you look for the films where something is good, right? It's like Dr. Sivana in Shazam. Shazam is becoming fucking art compared to most of the DCEU.
Oh yeah,
Right. So Shazam was fun. The second one was weird, but
I have
the
not
first
seen the
one was
second one
fun.
yet, but I was saying like the first one gets better and better by comparison.
Yeah.
It appreciates like wine, whereas Justice League is going to appreciate like cheese.
so I also watched a movie in preparation for this week's show because I still can't find a Legend of Zelda comic book to read, and I'm not going to read a manga. So I noticed, my wife noticed that Renfield was available on streaming, one of the multitude of services that we pay for.
Okay.
and I was like, I saw previews for that, and it looked like it was Nick Cage turned all the way up. So I want to watch that.
Yeah.
So we sat down and we watched it, and guess what, boys? It is Nick Cage turned all the way up.
Up to
The
11.
entire movie.
So I'm gonna love it.
Probably.
Okay.
Right. So let's get my position out of the way real fast, so you guys can proceed to just a happy time all over this.
Oh, I have a man crush on Nick Cage. Like
This is not actually about Nick Cage, although I find Nick Cage's depiction of Dracula obnoxious.
Real quick, I don't have anything against manga, Miss Rena, but I'm not going to be able to accurately review a manga based on one issue, and it's already too long.
Right.
I don't want to commit to reading all of it, and I'm not doing it. Not to review on the show.
The thing about the Renfield movie is that if you are in a certain subset of gothy gamerdom, right? Every time a horror movie of sufficient importance becomes popular with a monster, you will have to deal with the imitators. You will have to deal with fanboys. You will have to deal with the recharge who think that something new has been discovered, right? And it's just it's a soul crushing experience. All right. When Twilight was new, we were all battening the hatches, waiting for the Twilames to descend upon us, right? When Interview with a Vampire came out in the 90s, there was a watershed of I want to be Louis and I want to be Lestat to deal with. The same with True Blood, the same with the originals, all the way down the line. This is a consistent problem. So it's like, is the Renfield movie good? It might be a fun popcorn film to consume. Is it a movie that I am going to have to deal with? God, yes. It's going to be everywhere, and I hate it. The number of people who think they can pantomime Nick Cage and somehow glib Nick Cage's timing and comedy is like, no, you're not Nick Cage. Nick Cage is Nick Cage. You can't copy that level of insanity. My advice for anyone who's a gothy dark nerd and actually wants a horror movie with Dracula, go watch The Demeter. When that comes out, that looks way better. I'm also not particularly a fan of the idea that we're gonna envision the character of Renfield as a superhero, but your mileage may vary.
He wasn't revisioned as a superhero. Let's just.
He had special bugs that Dracula gave him that gave him temporary vampire powers.
No. Any bugs he ate gave him powers, but that was only because he had Dracula's powers of being a familiar.
Right, which he never had, which is not part of the shtick. Because
anyway,
Dracula is an exploitive dick.
let's get into the recap.
Yeah, dig into that stuff, guys. I'm gonna get me my food.
So you open up, you kind of get the montage of how Renfield became a familiar, all the way back when, and Nick Cage. Well, he's in a domestic violence support group, basically, for people in toxic relationships, talking about how he's abused by Dracula. But
because we all saw Fight Club.
Yeah. But my favorite parts didn't have anything to do with the overall plot. My favorite parts were the fact that it starred two of my favorite actors in the entire world, Nicolas Cage and Ben Schwartz. I didn't know Ben Schwartz was one of my favorite actors in the entire world until I realized every part that he plays is just John Ralphio from Parks and Rec. He's a mob boss's kid in this movie. He's like the big Billy Badass. Never killed anybody, but he's just John Ralphio. He throws bricks of cocaine at police officers to get away from them. He's got a prescription for his cocaine, and the man's just fucking hilarious. It's like he's not even taking it seriously, and they just took the first cut, and they were like, "Fuck it, this will work. This is fine." And then you have Nick Cage's Dracula.
Because they're not taking it seriously. I'm sure they literally said one take and we're done.
Yeah. No, this is something you sit down and you expect a cheesy, silly, campy horror movie, and that is exactly what you get. Lots of blood, lots of gore, lots of arms being ripped off, torn off, cut off, pulled off.
All right.
Impaled in people, arms being impaled in people happens.
Fantastic.
There's a semi-love interest in a foul-mouthed Asian cop a la Lucifer.
All right.
But yeah.
So it is basically what when you picture Nicolas Cage playing
Nick Cage Dracula movie.
It's what you
exactly get. What you would picture. Yes.
That's amazing.
I miss when Nick Cage was a dramatic actor and did actual movies.
I don't
know. I still love The Wicker Man.
The Beast.
I mean, if you think he was being serious when he recorded Face Off, you were mistaken.
No. I'm just saying one of my favorite movies on Earth is 8mm, and that's not Nick Cage chewing any scenery.
Face Off. It's the exact same. I'm pretty sure it's the same character as Dracula. I'm pretty sure that Dracula just became a gun runner for a little while because he was bored.
No, it's the other way around. So Castor Troy gets killed, and after getting his face back, and then comes back as Dracula. Is what you're saying?
Time travels back to being. Yes.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Time travels via the movie Knowing.
No, via the treasure from
National Treasure.
Yeah.
Okay. It's all part of the expanded Nicolas Cage cinematic universe.
Right. It's all connected. And that guy is actually the same guy that was being arrested in Con Air.
Right.
Now, where does Ghost Rider fit into this?
After he dies as Dracula, he comes back as Ghost Rider to repent his soul.
Yeah, from the devil, who is played by
Al Pacino.
No, not Al Pacino. No. It's played by Easy Rider.
No, I know, but Al Pacino from the other devil movie. That's where
right.
I was going with that.
Are you trying to say that Constantine and the Nick Cage cinematic universe are connected?
And fucking the Lawyer movie with Keanu Reeves.
Admittedly, that does work because Keanu Reeves was in Dracula. People forget that.
See, and I will agree with Church and Rena that
And
Nick Cage on 11
Keanu
is
Reeves is a time traveler. Got it.
Exactly. Yes. It all
Yeah.
ties back together. So it's Constantine. It's Constantine's devil, which was also the devil in the Devil's Advocate.
Right. Who transformed
maybe.
from Peter Stormare to Al Pacino, from Al Pacino to Easy Rider,
Yes.
because the devil takes many forms.
Correct.
See, but I do want to say, based on like Nick Cage going to 11, I also like Nick Cage at that awkward like 4 or 5 where they tell him to rein it back, but you can tell he's trying to
half
push it.
cage. Yeah, half cage.
Like
Right.
Wicker Man or Ghost Rider 2.
Yes.
Like that Cage is it's just so uncomfortable to watch because you know everybody behind the camera is cringing the whole time. I love it.
When you tell Nicolas Cage to play it straight, he basically straightens it up into a zigzag instead of a squiggle.
No. That's the thing. There are films. There are very select films that obviously Nick Cage gives a fuck about. Not films he's having for fun. Not films he's doing to pay off his tax debt. Where they say, "Hey Nick, can you bring it down to 1? Can you 1 Cage?" And he does. 8mm is one of those movies. I can't speak well enough of this film. Everybody needs to see this movie.
I've heard of 8mm. I've heard like it really shows off how good of an actor he can be, but I love his batshit insanity stuff so much.
Okay. It's Nicolas Cage, Joaquin Phoenix, Peter Stormare, and James Gandolfini all in one movie.
Again, I've heard it's great, but
it really is.
What was Tony Soprano doing in this movie?
He was a piece of shit pornographer.
So he's Tony Soprano.
Before he was Tony Soprano. That's the thing. Are you not familiar with the plot of this movie?
No.
So in 8mm, Nicolas Cage is a detective who is engendered by the widow of a powerful industrialist to determine whether or not a film found in her dead husband's effects is a real snuff film.
Oh.
And, I mean, there's a plot. It goes pretty dark. It is amazingly deep as a, like, because this is not the Nick Cage you expect now. You say Nick Cage attacks a movie, everyone
that was
goes
one of his
goofy.
That was one of his early movies too, wasn't it?
Not as early as
I should say.
Not as early as you'd think.
It was in 99.
Okay.
Because as a for instance, I don't think Joaquin Phoenix had hit Gladiator yet either, and he has a
Holy shit! Nick
part.
Cage is a Coppola.
Yeah,
I did not know that.
Yeah,
he took the name Nick Cage as a stage name so that he wouldn't be able to, so people wouldn't riff on his daddy's name for movies.
No, it was his uncle. His dad was August Coppola.
Still, he didn't want to. Yeah, but the Coppola name, he didn't want to riff on that for making movies because he could have just said, "I'm a Coppola" and just walked into any movie you wanted. You know, in the same way
Which is why I love that he does these ridiculous movies.
You know, it's in the same way that shit, what the fuck's his name? Just the back of my head.
Emilio Estevez.
Yeah, Emilio Estevez took his mother's maiden name because he didn't want to be listed as a Sheen.
Yeah, Charlie didn't give no fucks. He was out there fucking hookers and banging 7-gram rocks and finishing them.
And I can't even recall how many Baldwins there are.
That's because he's got tiger blood.
He does have tiger blood. Speaking of tiger blood, let's talk about Lord of the Rings.
Because that's a segue.
So, I don't know. I've briefly spoken about this, and me and Larry have riffed on it. Magic the Gathering decided that they were going to get the license for Lord of the Rings.
Mm-hmm.
Not a chance. Not this time. It never happened.
Thank you, Jonathan.
create a set of cards based on Middle Earth and the Lord of the
Sorry,
Rings trilogy.
sorry. Rena doesn't know what Tiger Blood is.
Can we
All
get
right,
that clip? Can we?
Oh,
Can-
I'll find the music video while Church talks
No.
about Magic the Gathering.
Not the whole clip, just the itty bitty clip.
Yeah, find the relevant clip, not the extended one.
Oh no, we're doing the song.
For fuck's sake, Ayrton.
No.
Why?
Give me the interview. That's what I want. The
Don't-
interview where he talked about banging 7-gram rock and finish.
That's what the song's made out of. It's only 1:36.
Okay.
Anyways, continue.
So they created this set, and it's part of what they call the Universes Beyond series. Now, when we were talking earlier, I said that Warhammer 40K figured into this.
Yep.
And that's because the last Universe Beyond they did was Warhammer 40K.
Which was also a
However-
bad fucking idea.
Well,
Carry on.
Well, it was actually done in a way that I don't despise. It wasn't a full set. It was only 4 or 5 theme decks for Commander that were overpriced, but this was the only way you could get those cards.
Yeah.
So I didn't hate it. Now, however, they've released an entire set, and let me see if I can find the information real quick. How many cards in Lord of the Rings MTG set? So the set size is 281 individual printed cards with 170 alternate printed cards. So that means any collector is going to have to find a way basically to accumulate almost 500 individual pieces of cardboard to collect this set. Now,
And didn't
Magic
they do a
Gathering is a
1-of-1
game.
print of the ring?
I'm getting there. They've also introduced recently serialized versions of the cards, which have like 1-of-1 or 1-of-10 or 1-of-100. And there's only that many seated throughout the product. So one of the cards in this set is a 1-of-1 of the One Ring printed in the original Tolkien, or whatever the fuck the script is called. But that thing is up to auction once it's found. The bounty on it is 2 million European pounds or European pesos, whatever the fuck they use over there.
Yeah.
Sucker born every minute.
But this has caused this product to be twice to 3 times the price of other normal Magic the Gathering products. So you see here, Universes Beyond Tales of Middle Earth Collector Booster Box Case. That is 6 collector booster boxes. Okay. So let's see. 2,700 divided by 6 is what, guys?
I don't know. I'm not a math Asian.
2,700 divided by 6. It's $450 a box. We look over here at March of the Machines. A March of the Machines collector booster box case is $1,100. So you can see giant leap in retail pricing on these things.
Yeah. For cardboard.
For cardboard with ink on it. And that's with every product. That's with draft boosters. That's with set boosters, jumpstart boosters, individual bundles, individual packs.
What you're saying, Church, is the end is nigh.
No, because people are going to pay for this.
Oh no, they are, but MTG cannot maintain this level of return. This is literally the tulip market in cardboard. This can only end badly.
Well, here's what happens when you do this, okay? Because you do have people that have unlimited money playing this game, and they're going to continue to play this game. You have people who are sponsored to play this game. They're going to continue to play this game. You're going to start losing market share from customers who were buying normal products at a normal person rate. So that group of 10 people that came into your shop and bought out 2 booster boxes every Friday night with their pocket money can't afford to do that anymore. And when you're getting less product for your money, then you find other things to spend your money on. And you eventually step away from the game that you can't keep up with playing because you're getting bought out of it. Or you switch to what people like me do. And if there's a card, say, that I need 5 copies of, I'll buy one secondary market for $3 or $4, and then I will proxy the rest. I will go to a website that sends me cards from China. I will have them send me copies of the card that are functional in every way, shape, or form. And my local card shop is the one that suffers, not me, because I can keep playing this game for pennies on the dollar. But my local card shop that I go into and drop $50 to $100 a week on fucking cardboard to maintain my hobby and keep them in business so I can maintain my hobby, well, they stop getting my money altogether. And then they go under because they lost their best-selling product, because that best-selling product drove away the low-income margin people who were keeping it afloat.
Oh, let's go conspiracy hat time. I'm gonna be Alex Jones, and I'm a little retarded. This is intentional because the goal is to actually stop printing cardboard and start making
and move everybody to Arena.
Make Magic the Gathering an entirely digital esport experience. The current people running WotC, specifically WotC, right, are former Microsoft and digital marketplace app executives, right? And in D&D circles, the large conversation is the idea that they're trying to harm their own product as they transition to D&D 6, D&D 5.5, whatever number you want to give it, to make a Apple-style walled garden, where the only place you can get official D&D content is to both have a D&D Beyond account and to play their way in their garden, because they think that this will make them money. And it might.
It will not.
It will probably not. In the same way, I can see them trying to make MTG an esport, because then you don't have to deal with overhead.
The problem with this rune is they've already tried it with Magic Online and it failed miserably.
That doesn't mean they won't try again.
They've already tried with Arena and failed miserably.
But Church, how many times has Warner Brothers tried to make a DCEU that works?
I'm just putting it out there that if they keep trying this, they're going to... all of that goodwill and all of that expensive cardboard is going to become worthless almost overnight.
Well, because this brings us to that other problem, the real corpo problem, which is the people who are doing this, they're not worried about the results because they can fail upward. All they have to show is mythic level sales like this will generate, and say, well, even if the product failed, I succeeded because look at what I did. And then they'll just get a job somewhere else. They don't give a shit about preserving your hobby.
No, I understand that, and that's what pisses me off about it.
Oh, I'm with you.
Here's the second reason, and let me step into this. So let's look at it. Do you guys know what a collector booster is? I mean, I know you've played Magic, Rune, but you probably don't buy a lot of Magic.
I do not.
Okay. So let's take a look at this. This is a collector booster box. Okay. Hold on 1 second.
Oh. And then while Church steps away, Rune, do you want to explain Universe Beyond?
I'm here.
Oh, he's back.
Oh, Universe Beyond. Just like I was saying, Universe Beyond is a Magic thing that they're doing where they visit other proprietary properties like Warhammer 40K and Lord of the Rings that don't take place in standard Wizards of the Coast backgrounds like Dungeons and Dragons, Baldur's Gate.
Also,
etc.
the fuck makes you think I know, Ayrton? I play Magic. I don't suck dicks.
I don't know.
Fuck you, Rune.
Is it-
Enough of that shit. But anyway, Collector Booster is 12 Magic the Gathering packs that contain 15 cards, one traditional foil double-sided token with a combination of 5 to 7 cards of rarity, rare or higher, and 3 to 5 uncommon, 3 to 6 common, and 1 land card. Each pack contains a total of 8 to 10 traditional foil cards. Now, this means you are getting 12 premium packs containing 5 to 7 rare or higher cards with the chance of pulling the most expensive cards in the set, right?
Okay.
So you're paying $4.45 for this item.
Couldn't you just go to a casino?
You could buy some
I-
scratchers.
I,
Yeah.
in fact, will say again, a sucker is born every minute. My father is
So-
one of those suckers.
We got a $4.45 price tag right here. So we divide that by 12. You're paying about $38 a pack if someone just opens it up and sells it for the box cost. Okay. 38 divided by 15, that's $2.50 a card.
Actually,
On
my
average.
my old man is the exact example of the problem.
Well, no, the problem here is at $2.50 average pricing per piece of cardboard, the majority of these pieces of cardboard are priced below $10.
Right, but here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Out of the 500 possible cards you could pull from this, maybe 1% of them, 2% of them.
Right, I'm just saying on the mouth breather consumer side of this calculation. Okay, my old man had a stack of comic books that were his stack of comic books that I long believed would be mine one day when he passed on. I'd inherit. Okay,
Yeah.
in that stack was ROM Space Knight #1.
Hell yeah.
Was a bunch of middle of the road comics, but he also had like Secret Wars. Okay?
Yeah.
Like number
Oh,
one
God.
Secret Wars, the original Secret Wars. Okay?
Yeah.
There was some real
The number 8 in that series is the valuable one, first appearance of the Black Spider-Man suit.
sure, but there was a bunch of stuff there to be had. Okay? And my old man got in on the 90s era Star Trek The Next Generation trading card game.
Yeah.
All right? And was led to believe by the
Those cards would
fuckfa-
be more valuable than anything else.
Not just that, but was led to believe by a fuckface behind a desk that if he traded in his comic collection for a number of decks of this card, he was guaranteed to get the one card he was missing for his collection because he wanted to have the entire bridge crew of the TNG Enterprise D. Okay? Did he get it? No.
No.
Because that guy doesn't fucking control what cards you get in your randomized deck box. Right?
Well, let me get back to the point before we.
No,
before we
I
get
just want to be very clear for anyone who's watching this and trying to calculate this out. The ratios of potential for getting any one card that Church just described is not a guarantee. That is a rough estimate.
No, I watched a video where somebody cracked 2 collector boosters online this morning, and they didn't pull anything that made up the cost of the box throughout the whole
Yeah.
box.
Yeah.
But you look here, and these are the 10 most valuable cards out of this set. So the number 10 is $13. Number 9 is $15. $17. $17. $18. $19, $19, $22, $25. And the number one most valuable card in this set is $36.50. Now, there are, again, variation printings that are going for almost $2 million on Bounty right now. You would have to open roughly 3 million collector boosters to have a chance at pulling this thing.
That's a horrible idea.
Well, see, not even technically, because that's the gambler's fallacy. Your
Right.
odds reset with every single pack that you
with
open.
every single pack.
Yeah,
But that's what I'm
every
getting
single
at. It's
pack
1
has
in
the
3
same
million.
odds. So buying more packs isn't going to give you better odds. It's the same odds.
Right.
Right.
But what I just pointed out, though, is even if in every pack you pulled a copy of the One Ring base printing, you would not get your money back out of that box. Because the One Ring, the most valuable card in the set, is $37. Your pack costs are $37.
Yeah.
Your LGS is probably not selling them for just retail either. They're probably marking them up a little bit to make a profit.
Well, yeah.
So there's no value in buying this product except for the chase of stupid shit like this. The serialized 1 of 1, the One Ring, and fucking Elvish script.
Well, can we talk about the other problem?
Well, let me pontificate for just another minute.
Sure,
Because this hasn't been a problem before in normal product. Because again, you have a lower price range. So your standard cost on a regular collector booster is anywhere from $15 to $20 in a local game store. And at $15 to $20, you have a chance to pull out something that in a normal set that is standard legal, modern legal, commander legal is upwards of $80 when it's in rotation. And it doesn't go below $50 after it rotates out because of its eternal use and format. Whereas right now, the most valuable card in the set, because of all the variation chase cards driving the price up, is $37, the cost of one collector booster. I bought a bundle of Phyrexia All Will Be One, and it came with a bonus pack promo thing with some special printing in it. It's the same concept, but one of the cards I pulled out of it paid for the whole fucking bundle at time of purchase. Even now, after all of that has been sitting on shelves and other copies have been opened, it's still a $60 piece of cardboard. Whereas
Right.
your base set in this fucking $37. Where's my incentive to buy this product when it's 3 times the value or 3 times the price of what I'm typically buying, and there's no way I recoup my money on it unless I'm one of these 1 in 9,000, 1 in 3 billion people.
Well, that brings us to the other problem, right? The other problem is, hey, Ayrton, put up the banner. They did the race swap on
Yes.
the major characters. Now, does that actually fucking matter? Shouldn't. It really shouldn't. I actually don't care, because I'm not going to buy them. They're overpriced cardboard. But, in addition to people that are pissed off and won't buy it, or are buying it because they're compulsive buyers, there is a subset of mouth breather that will buy them because of the controversy. They'll buy them because it's like, yeah, I've got those cards from that one time that Magic the Gathering put out Afro-American versions of these beloved characters as a lark.
Just Aragorn. Just the one.
Is it really
The one
just
character.
Aragorn? That's extra fucking
Aragorn.
dumb. But I mean, there you go. That just means that Aragorn as a card will have even more value. Whereas, I hate to say it.
One of the lowest value cards in the set.
You mean because it's not useful on the board?
Yep.
Because I would say, still, there's a collector's market for rare and unusual cards. Things with errors. Things that only happened one time.
Misprints and miscuts and shit like that, but not race swap characters.
I mean, you say that, but like, for instance, I've got unglued cards.
I can back it up for the simple fact that they put out the Fibble Flip and the Dreamer kid in Modern Horizons or whatever
Right.
when they first introduced partners.
Okay.
And Fibble Flip or whatever the fuck his name is still high dollar card. Or not Fibble Flip. Shit, what was it? Partner cards TG. These are blue, right? These are mono blue. Is it? No. Fuck. It's right there in the front of my head that's pissing me off. Go ahead and talk for a second while I figure.
I mean,
out.
we're all thinking the same thing, though.
I don't know. We know this is what you're thinking, Rune.
Anyway,
not Aragorn's dick.
The Aragorn card. Let me pull it up on TCG.
I mean, if anything, if Church is to be believed, Aragorn sounds like the biggest, blackest cuck.
$6 for Aragorn and Arwen wed. And Aragorn the Uniter. $7.
Hmm.
I
mean, that
look
would-
up my Elish Norn.
The thing is, that still might appear in some of these boxes.
Sure, my Elish Norn is still $60.
Yeah.
My other Elish Norn is $116.
Damn. For a fucking piece of cardboard?
Yeah. That's the difference
Jeez.
between actually using a card and having something that has a character on it that does nothing.
Gotcha.
Aragorn's a Swiss Army knife on the battlefield that does nothing you need it to do. So it's a 4-color commander that when you cast a white spell, it creates a soldier token. When you cast a blue spell, it scries 2. It doesn't draw you cards. It just lets you look at them and put them in different orders.
Right.
You cast a red spell, it deals 3 damage to a target opponent. Big whoop in a 40 life format. When
Right.
you cast a green spell, a target creature gets +4/+4. Who the fuck turns sideways in Commander?
I'll pretend I understood anything you just said.
Okay, in Commander, you're playing a 40 life, 100 card singleton format. So you've got upwards of 4 people sitting at any table playing the game together. It's multiplayer.
Gotcha.
So you've got 120 life on the field. Whereas in a normal game of Magic, it's 2 people sitting across from one another trying to deal 20 damage as quickly as possible. You're trying to beat 3 people at one time in Commander typically.
Gotcha. Uh-oh, the traplings were making noise.
The Churchettes.
That just sounds like a cheesy pop band from the 90s, Church and the Churchettes.
I mean, yes.
There's some new lore. Church was a pop singer in the late 90s, early 2000s. And since he's not here, he can't deny it.
I mean, we could also talk about how, much like Steve Martin, Church was a small black child in the South.
That's true. He was born a poor black child down in Mississippi.
Yeah.
Which, I quoted that the other day at work, and only 2 people got it.
Oh, that's extra funny because I
others looked at me
day.
just super confused.
That's actually extra funny because I quoted that the other day and someone had no idea what I was talking about. They looked at me like I grew a second head. They're like,
It's so
what?
all right. Well, while church is gone, Rena, are you ready to learn about tiger blood?
I mean, Church's gonna be mad. He's gonna miss that, but that's just too bad.
All right.
I missed nothing.
Oh.
I just had to sue the child.
Ah. All right, boys, buckle up.
Some are saying that you're bipolar.
Wow, what does that mean?
I guess that you're on two ends of the spectrum.
Wow. And then what? What's the cure? Medicine? Make me like them? Not gonna happen.
I'm by winning, and I was banging 7-gram rocks. That's how I roll. That's how I roll. I'm just winning. I blinked and I cured my brain. I have one speed, one gear, go. Oh, shut up. Shut up. Stop. And so, move forward. I use a blender, I use a vacuum cleaner, I use
It's not the one I thought it was going to be. But I like it.
items. I'm by winning, and I was banging 7-gram rocks. That's how I roll. That's how I roll. I'm just winning.
Damn it, that wasn't the one it was supposed to be. The fuck? There's more than one of these?
Yes. That was one of the greatest things to ever happen on the internet ever.
Was it? Oh, is this one? Fuck, hold on. God damn it, Old Spice.
But was it one of the greatest things to happen on this show?
Probably.
Because it did happen on this show just, 16 years ago.
It did.
God damn it, now I have to find the original one. Fuck. Is this it? No, that's not it. What the fuck? Where is...
Nothing but professionalism on this show, ladies and gentlemen.
I know.
I'm disappointed.
Me too.
So, have you guys been keeping up with this? Did you find it?
I might have found it. I think this is it. God damn it. Since when was there all these other ones?
Since about 17 years ago.
Yeah, I'm on a drug culture machine. It's not available. If you try it once, you will die. Your face will melt off. Be control of my evil. Be your total body. Will be your total body.
You love to party.
What's not to love? The one I was on, made dagger, and make you look like droopy-eyed armless children. That's how I party. That's how I party. I was banging 7-gram rocks. That's how I roll. Winning. I had one gear. Go. Epic. Winning.
Are you bipolar?
I'm by winning. Win here. Win there. Win everywhere. Where? Absolute victory everywhere. Where? I'm in quest. We're gonna win everywhere. Right every single wrong. Right every wrong. I'm the total freaking rock star from Mars. Winning. Come on, bro. I got tiger blood. Winning. You borrow my brains and feel like, dude, can't handle it. Win here, win there, win everywhere. I've got him pissed. Got me so big.
Okay, then we don't need to listen to that dude do a stupid rap over it. There you go. He's by winning and
He's got tiger blood. And he's banging 7-gram rocks and finishing them.
Yeah.
So have you guys been keeping up with this Reddit shit that's been going on?
No, because I'm not a homosexual.
What about you,
Reddit is on blackout. They're trying to kill moderation on a bunch of their Reddits.
Trying to kill moderation on a bunch of their Reddits.
Yeah.
So what I've got here is a series of tweets and an article. Dextero says Reddit is allegedly threatening to remove moderators of subreddits if they don't reopen. Reddit blackout has swept many of the biggest communities on the platform. While some chose to strike for 48 hours and come back to regular operations afterwards, there are subs who have opted to suspend operations indefinitely. However, a moderator of R Apple claims Reddit is putting pressure on moderators that are holding out by citing the rules and regulations on their platform. Reddit's moderator code of conduct states they will not tolerate hostility, refusal to cooperate, and or continued encouragement of rule-breaking behavior across Reddit. And with Rule 4 in the code of conduct stating that moderators have to be active in their communities to hold onto their role, they may be forced out of their position. So they're talking about firing volunteer Jannies.
Yeah.
Oh. So,
Moderator claims Reddit is threatening subs to reopen. Reddit moderators are a key part of keeping communities running. When it comes to communities that have a very specific set of rules, when it comes to both posting and commenting, having a dedicated moderation team is essential. Within these subreddits, moderators have a lot of power, and in case of some of the biggest subreddits, moderators have unanimously decided to black out indefinitely to protest Reddit's API changes. Now, briefly to touch on that, the Janny side has begun. Reddit admins are forcefully reopening subs and replacing the mods. What are we going to do, Reddit bros? They shut down third-party apps. Big subs went private to hurt Reddit in the protest. Reddit admins finally go scorched earth to preserve their policy and money.
so
Reddit changes their monetary policy for third-party apps. Jannies mods and go on strike and close subreddits. Reddit union busts by finding low-level Jannies to scab replace the controlling mods. Basically,
So
the
it's a
mods are
civil-
being
it's a-
replaced.
it's a Reddit civil war?
Would you
looks to
would
be
you in
that-
fact would you in fact call it Reddit's race war?
24 hours after the blackout was supposed to end, 4,974 subreddits are still dark. That includes our funny, our science, and our music. The 48-hour blackout became an indefinite one because Reddit didn't budge on the core of the dispute. Reddit didn't make concessions to save Apollo, Reddit is Fun, and other third-party apps shutting down. In addition, many of moderators involved were incensed at Steve Huffman's leaked email. Many felt he downplayed the impact of them, or to them, and didn't like that he called it noise. Moderators rely on tools like Apollo to help with their moderation, and they are unpaid by Reddit. Reddit did pledge to improve its own app and support accessibility app, though this was enough for some subreddits to come back, like this example, our AMD. This sub was closed when AMD announced the MX 3100X. I'm guessing that's a graphics card. At its
It's a
height,
graphics
blackout
card or it's the
extended-
new sex robot model.
one or the other. But now with almost 5,000 subreddits, more involved, and they would start when I tweeted 72 hours ago, 3,500. At this time, it represented 48% of authors and 43% of karma. I don't know what any of this means.
Karma is a
I
measure of positive social credit on Reddit. I have been on Reddit just long enough to know that.
Oh.
Reddit is in full-on turmoil with so many of its most loyal users upset at the platform. Many users are claiming they're leaving the platform. This begs to the question, where will they go? Redditor CEO Steve Huffman seems to be betting there is no alternative.
Blacked.com.
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean,
Put 'em over to,
www.clownpenis.fart.porn.
Teaparty.com.
Meatspin.com.
Yeah. That's a blast from
There
the
we
past.
go.
Literally and
Yeah.
figuratively. So that's the Reddit news. I have seen a lot about it. I can't bring myself to give a shit.
I'm still confused about what's going on. So they're getting rid of moderators.
Okay,
who
so
are-
what initially happened, from my understanding, is that there were a bunch of third-party apps that use Reddit's API, their code.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
To allow their apps to read and scroll and interact with Reddit the way you would on a web browser.
Okay.
So you don't have to use that shitty mobile browser to browse Reddit. And Reddit's app has historically always sucked. So people made better Reddit apps, but
Gotcha.
Reddit wasn't getting paid for these apps. So they changed their API policy and basically revoked third-party access, causing apps like Apollo and Reddit is Fun to shut down. Some of these moderators in these large subreddits are saying, well, I use those things in my unpaid job as a Reddit moderator, and I'd like them back. So that's where we are now. Reddit decided, no, fuck you. We'll just replace you with someone who will comply.
Okay. I think I'm caught up now.
It is that standard combination of they're doing something shitty, but they're doing something shitty they're well within their rights to do, but that doesn't make it less shitty.
Oh no, Reddit bros, looks like you're going to black.com.
So before
Rumble?
we get into the last couple
No.
of things that I
How dare you? Do not tell them to come to Rumble.
How dare I
Redditors can
speak?
fuck off. You are not
How
welcome
dare I
here.
speak ill of our current mother and father?
Yeah.
you guys have anything else before I get into the last couple of things that I got?
Nope. Feel free. Carry forward.
Rune just taking up space as usual.
Look,
I
man,
had another topic, but I wanted Larry to be
Did you
here
not
for
see
it.
my status? Okay, I got enough going on trying to convince this guy he doesn't need barbiturates and quaaludes, okay?
Look, just dress him up like
Everybody-
Renfield. It'll be
everybody
great.
needs those.
Look, Moon Knight is a recovering problem because he doesn't think he has a problem.
Just dress Moon Knight up like Renfield, and the problem will fix itself.
That's true.
The problem
and
is
he'll get
that
his $20 back.
actually,
We'll get his $20 back.
Actually, wait a minute. Disney Marvel, if you can hear me, if you're paying attention to me, if you really want to cash in on this multiverse shit, and you want to make $1 million, Moon Knight,
Nick Cage with Nick Cage as Dracula.
Alt Universe Moon Knight, Nick Cage as Moon Knight.
And Nick Cage as Dracula.
Yes.
Yeah.
On screen simultaneously.
1000%.
Use your 3 million computers to make it happen.
Yes. I mean, you know.
Look, just
we all know Nick Cage has a clone of himself
Look,
for just this moment.
We all are wondering, why is Moon Knight crazy? The answer is because Moon Knight is aware of all of the other Moon Knights in all the other realities, including one where he's a pill-popping psychopath who's trying to get $20 out of Dracula, and happens to be Nick Cage arguing with Nick Cage. It's beautiful.
And he still has to play Ghost Rider too.
Yes. Although that's not a Disney property. That is a, what is it, Sony?
Ghost Rider's
but
not Sony.
speaking of which,
Ghost Rider is not
thought
Disney.
I thought it was Fox, which
No, it's
Disney
not.
owns.
It
not?
might be Fox now. Shit,
yeah,
I
that might
gotta
be
go
right.
look it up. I gotta go find out.
But
Okay.
you know, we could have we bring Ghost Rider in there as Nick Cage as well.
And then, I mean, we might as well make Nick Cage
Oh,
the
and-
new Iron Man while we're
And,
at it.
so first of
War
all, Ghost
Machine.
Rider.
Nick Cage is the new War Machine.
So first of all, Ghost Rider is Sony.
Really?
Yep.
Huh.
Ghost Rider 2007,
Well,
Sony.
You know what? You just tell them that they can't make any more badass Spider-Man movies if they don't have Nick Cage Ghost Rider in the Nick Cage Moon Knight movie with Nick
I'll
Cage.
go. I'll take it. Hey, look. Okay, we know that Disney and Sony can make deals. Okay, so what they need to do is they need to make a deal where they say we're going to do Midnight Suns.
And
Right.
hold on, here's the kicker. You let Disney let Sony take credit for it for when
Right.
it inevitably bombs at the box office.
Just bear with me for a minute. They say, okay, Sony, we're going to do Midnight Suns, so you need to let us borrow Blade and Ghost Rider and more, or no, you need to let us borrow Morbius and Ghost Rider and Venom, and we'll let you borrow Blade and Spider-Man, and you're done.
Now,
Because
what
all
about
of
my
those
idea of we just change all of Marvel Phase 12 or whatever they're on, just to every single main character is Nick Cage, including Nick Fury and Ironheart, like all of them. He just plays every single character.
Do we call this film Multiverse of Malaise?
No, we don't explain it. It just every single character is just now Nicolas Cage.
Into the
Going
Cage
forward.
first?
Yeah, Shang-Chi.
Just into
all
the
of them.
cage.
Into
Yeah.
the cage. Rage in the cage.
Yeah, Marvel's
There,
into
there you
the
go.
cage.
I just tagged you guys with the plan on Twitter.
Okay.
See, Disney has to sell Marvel to us now.
You mean because we can make one of their cringe comedy plots in about 5 minutes?
But ours is actually me.
Right.
Just in Nick Cage to play Moon Knight, Blade, Spider-Man, Ghost Rider, and Dracula in upcoming Sony Disney film Midnight Suns.
Hey, wait a minute. You know what I find funny here, Church? You know what's actually funny here? Of all the characters listed, Tom Hardy is still Venom. No, I have the book. It's actually true. During the blackout phase of the Midnight Suns run, Venom and Ghost Rider had a crossover book.
Yeah, Tom Hardy can still be Venom.
Right.
Nick Cage is pulling enough weight as it is.
Well, I mean, hey, if we're gonna go all out, can seriously, Marvel, sell us Marvel. Can we just get Topher Grace to cameo? I mean, if anything, the Flash has shown us that cameos are good enough. You don't have to make sense. Then we could have Topher.
What
Grace
if we
as
get
Eddie
Nick
Brock.
Cage to do it wearing a Topher Grace mask?
I think now you're transcending from Nick Cage comedy bit into Hannibal
A Nick
Lecter
Cage
fan
horror
film.
bit?
Yeah. Face Off 2, Topher's face.
Instead of Topher Grace. I love it.
Yeah, no, instead of Topher Grace, it's Topher face. God, this is awful.
Ayrton had to mute because he's beating off so feverishly.
It's true. It's true.
Alex Jones can play J. Jonah Jameson in this world.
That was the
No,
fastest I've
that
ever
would
come.
no, we can't have that. That would actually be funny.
Spider-Man turning the freaking frogs gay.
No, like think about it. They do a spider bit that is again multiversal bullshit, right? And I'll even let it slide. They can use Miles fucking Morales. I don't care, right?
Yeah, but he has
And
to be played by Nick Cage.
I mean, sure. And in a no, actually they did this. Because remember, in Spider-Verse animated film 1, Nick Cage was Spider-Man Noir.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. So you have Miles Morales ported to a multiversal version of himself. That's all a black and white Sin City style 1920s alike with Nick Cage as Spider-Man. And then you have as a cameo Alex Jones on the 1950s style TV talking about how Spider-Man is making the children homosexuals in a send up of Dr. Wortham and Seduction of the Innocent.
I'm with it.
Because remember, comics have always been making children gay. We were told so.
Yep. All right. So let's see what we got here.
We're looking at Larry's stuff now.
We've been looking at Larry's stuff.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Larry has added things. Larry said he wasn't going to be here tonight because he was busy. Larry has added things to the fucking list while we've been on show.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Fuck's sake, Larry.
We're not going to talk about Kwanzaa, Larry.
No. Can we find out what Taika said? Because I want to see what retardation he's trying to backpedal with.
I was going to listen to it, but it's like 3 minutes long.
2:18.
So, whatever. That's still 3 minutes too long to listen to him talk. So, God damn it!
I mean, we can
you have
watch
to
it.
pull the Twitter link.
The thing.
You have to pull the Twitter link into an actual tab. You can't use the Twitter desktop app. The sound doesn't work through it.
Does it not?
No, I don't know why. I still can't figure out how to get it to work. But yeah, you have to open it as a. You have to open it as a tab to play the audio.
I'm just looking at some of the things Larry has dug up, and my brain is like, "What the fuck world is this?"
But growing up there, all right. So, and my speech, honestly, is just dancing around. It doesn't follow a 3-act structure, and this is kind of what my speech is about, right? I think the word diversity is wrong. I think that the idea of diversification of the screen is not quite right because it's actually confusing everyone. And what's happening is we're mistaking that for we have to include a person from every single race and every single background and every single part of the human experience in every show or everything that we make.
That didn't stop you from fucking up Thor, did it?
I never grew up with a group of friends where there was someone who represented every ethnic group in my group of friends. I don't know who the hell grew up like that, where it's like, okay, we'll wait for my Chinese mate to turn up, and then my black mate, and then my Asian. I mean, it just didn't exist, and it's like cool when you see it like once or twice, but that's just not reflective of like how people grow up. And so like, for me, the idea also, like, what's really hilarious is the teleprompter is just like going up and down trying to find what I'm saying. I forgot to tell you, I'm not reading it.
So now we know how Taika writes too.
But,
yeah.
Okay, where was I? Oh yeah, it's not authentic. So instead of diversification of the screen, the thing that I really want to see and what I strive for and hope for is a term coined by my mentor, Merata Mita, who was the first Indigenous and first female filmmaker to come out of New Zealand. And she was an activist and she paved the way. She blazed the trail that, I'm blaze trailing her. And she was the one who started it all. And she, the term she loved to use was decolonizing the screen. And for us, it's
hell.
What's confusing
at first I liked what he was saying.
To see, it's great to see your own face on screen, but please, not on my account, don't put a Polynesian in your thing just because you feel you need to. It has to make sense. I don't want to see one token Polynesian character in your show. Okay, that's just weird. And
you're the one that did "Our flag means death," you disingenuous cunt.
Well, also, he said decolonization of the screen. That makes it sound like brown people invented cinema and the British stole the cinema from them, when that's not what happened. The cinema wasn't colonized.
That's the thing. There are so many layers of fucking misinformation going on.
I don't know if it's misinformation. I think it's just several layers of retarded.
Here's the thing. He did a TV series called "Our Flag Means Death," which was a spoof on Black Flag and other, or Black Sails and other pirate media, where he said we're gonna focus on the gentleman pirate who was kind of a fuck up and a fop, and that's true, right? And then surrounded him by a cavalcade of cartoon character versions of historical figures who were a swatch spread of browns, right? Who were probably not those colors historically. And the defense, the protection for this is, well, it's just a comedy, Joe. Nobody cares. But it's like, this is the fucker that then goes on to do terrible Thor movies. And this is the guy that defends his bad product by saying I was decolonizing. It's actually high theory. I'm making things better for other people. What other people? You made garbage! You made garbage, you put it on the screen, you got paid millions of dollars to give us garbage. You fuck. And the best part is, you got paid either way. Because you don't depend on the residuals from the film. You're not the asshole at the bottom who's shoveling coffees. You're the guy who directs it and gets all the credit for being brave and strong and taking the risks that you never actually fucking took.
Like these two guys here being brave and strong.
Brave and strong, and if you scroll down on that side, I think somebody's got it in one that they're the ambiguously gay duo. Yeah, exactly.
I was ready, Rune. I was ready.
Well, Larry and I actually talked about this, and we got into an interesting side conversation about whether or not the Midnighter is a good character. Because I actually like the Midnighter. I think Midnighter is a lot of fun. And Larry countered that Midnighter is super edgy. And we were kicking back and forth that, you know, is it acceptable? Because Midnighter is sort of from the last tail end of the 90s Edge era, right? Because I will straight up tell you, Midnighter and Apollo being a super gay relationship that's gay on the gayness and gay everywhere is cringy as fuck in their own book. I do not care about their wedding. It was awful to read, right? Right? On the other hand, Midnighter and Apollo gave us comedy gold. Okay? Have you read The Authority, Ayrton?
I think we reviewed some of it, didn't we?
Probably.
I reviewed the early stuff.
Well, there's a mid, before it goes completely off the deep end and loses the track, there's a mid-issue event where some bad guys capture Apollo, and they keep him separated from the sun, so of course all of his sun powers are going away. And it is strongly implied that they pass him around like a party favor. Okay? And one of them is really into it because he's a scumbag, right? So when Apollo gets free and they go on their heroic rampage of revenge with the Authority helping him to fight back, Apollo trades off with the Midnighter on dealing with this guy to go do other superhero things. And the guy is there on the ground, his back is broken, he can't run away, right? Right? And he's like, what are you gonna do, huh? I messed up your boyfriend, right? And so the Midnighter pulls out of nowhere, presumably in the null space that is his trench coat, a gas-powered post hole digger, and just grins. And then, many issues later, he gets a letter, because he gets fan mail. He's like, why the fuck do I get fan mail? He gets a letter from that guy who lived through being post-holed, who is now living in Southeast Asia with a little Asian wife and is working security, and he's very grateful for the lesson that Midnighter gave him in not being a piece of shit. It's like, what the fuck? What world is this? But by and large, I don't give a shit that Midnighter and Apollo are gay, and I don't know why DC has suddenly decided that just because they own a property they didn't even fucking invent, this is what they're gonna push for their representation. It's like, well, you guys did.
There's also this.
well, you guys didn't like gay Superman,
So
so we
Pride
got
Month
gay
shocker.
Superman alike.
So there's also
No.
this article, Pride
Wait a-
Month shocker.
oh.
Bert and Ernie come out
thank God.
straight.
I read that
Sesame
wrong,
Street,
and
a
then
dark-
I realized it was the Babylon Bee, and I'm like, thank God, thank you, Babylon Bee.
Sesame Street. A dark cloud was cast over Pride Month festivities on Sesame Street as Bert and Ernie, long regarded as icons by the LGBTQ community, clarified that they are, in fact, just a couple of straight guys who live together. We're just roommates, Bert said when asked to describe his relationship with Ernie. I don't get why my best friend and I can't live together without everyone thinking we're gay. We're just a couple of dudes who share an apartment. He does his thing, I do mine. Don't make it weird.
And of course, remember, don't fuck around on Sesame Street, because Count Von Count has been the Malkavian prince of Sesame Street for like 60 years.
Did we kill Church?
One of my favorite pictures is the Count Von Count punching out Edward from Twilight. Just like, nope. Because by
You didn't
comparison,
kill me. My soul's been dead for a long time.
Because by
That's fair.
comparison, even the Count Von Count is more of a vampire than Edward. One bitch.
Now I want a sketch of the Count as a pimp, and he counts how many times he pimp slaps his hoes.
Right. Well, Mo, when you think about it, when you think about that aristocratic Bela Lugosi style vampire clothing, that is a pimp. It's just an East European pimp.
Right.
So he's already in the pimp clothes. You're just saying you want a picture where he's slapping hoes.
No, I want it as a full.
Baby
I
powder.
want it as a full sketch. But he needs like the hat and the cane and shit, and has to tell him to kiss his ring.
Apparently, he has a lot of shoes. When I was a kid, I had
What?
a Sesame. When I was a kid, I had a Sesame Street counting book, and apparently, he has a lots of spats. Apparently, the Count has spats. Shoes for days.
I mean, what else? Now I need to look it up.
What? Whether or not the Count has feet?
No, whether he has a lot of shoes.
I mean, fucking Kermit has feet. And it's not easy being green.
Yeah, I think Church is dead.
I'm not dead. I'm
He's just letting us
I'm
ramble.
disappointed. I'm disappointed.
In what? In which of the multiple levels of disappointment seizes you?
All of it? Is that an acceptable answer? All of it?
Yeah. I'd say so.
All right, here's a question. I'm going to bring up a comic-y subject that Larry threw out there. I had not heard James Mangold was making a Swamp Thing. Is a Swamp Thing happening again? Because the last time we did Swamp Thing, it got shunted to a TV series and then disappeared a quick death.
What?
Hey, look.
Sorry.
Rumor: John Wick Chapter 4 star Bill Skarsgård up for lead role in James Mangold's Swamp Thing.
I saw that.
I'm like,
I don't
I don't
know
know.
that I care.
when the
I
fuck
don't
did
know,
Swamp Thing become a subject
Because they
again?
already had a good Swamp Thing show and then they cut it off.
Which
I don't know.
one?
I found this article. It says James Mangold confirms he is writing Swamp Thing. At the same time, he will be writing a new Star Wars movie. God damn it. I'm so sick of fucking Star Wars. James Mangold will make Star Wars movie before Swamp Thing. Apparently. Apparently, it's not just a rumor anymore as of like April. Here, let me get this article up in a sec. All right, you ready, Rune?
God knows.
James
mean,
Mangold has
I'm very disgusted, but I'll save it till after your bit.
fair. It's an actual article.
Yeah, no,
James
carry
Mangold
on.
has made it official. He is writing the Swamp Thing movie. It was announced on Friday. This article came out April 7th. It was announced on Friday that Mangold will be directing an upcoming Star Wars movie set 25,000 years in the past in a galaxy far, far away. Collider took the opportunity to ask him about the rumors he was working on Swamp Thing as well. It seems that the first race is on to who will direct the new DC projects that were announced by DC Studios on Tuesday. Mangold is looking to direct Swamp Thing. Let's see, quote, "The truth is I'm writing both right now, and who knows what's going to happen and what's going to blossom first or second." Mangold went on to add, So there's your thing. I'm doing Swamp Thing. There's your scoop. It's not a rumor. It's happening. I put it online." So there you go.
I looked up this guy while you were looking up that, and discovered that he is involved as a director in several good things, and then involved in as a writer in several good things, and then is involved in some very, very bad things.
Mm-hmm.
So this guy was writer director on Copland back in '97. That's with Stallone. Okay, cool. He was involved in Identity, which is a drawing room mystery with John Cusack in 2003 as director. Okay. He was a director and writer in Walk the Line with Joaquin Phoenix, and it was based on...
That was a good movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie. He was director on 3:10 to Yuma, the remake with Russell Crowe, Christian Bale. Okay, cool. He was the director on The Wolverine, which was the less bad of several options. And he was the director and writer for Logan. Okay, we're feeling pretty good. He was the director for a historical called Ford versus Ferrari. All right.
Which apparently is really good.
He's the writer and the director on the new Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Yeah. Yeah. It's like all of my positivity right in the fucking can. Holy shit.
As it should be.
It was worse because I was confused at first because there were Indiana Jones pop-ups when I searched for this guy's name, and I clicked through some of them, and they're already doing the spin, right? They're trying to say that Harrison Ford is always trying to subvert the tropes of any scene he's in. It's like, what, the Indiana Jones tropes, the very standard tropes. And then there was a article about why Shia LaBeouf's not in the new film, which is basically boils down to, we wanted to do a story about Indy and a girl, and we couldn't have Indy and a girl and a boy. It's like, okay.
I mean, but they did. That's called Temple of Doom.
Well, Shia LaBeouf was the girl.
Despite the fact that, according to Larry, Shia is having a bit of a revival. He's getting his wind back after his period of insanity.
Oh, really?
Yeah, apparently. Is this real, by the way? I saw this listed, and I wanted to know, is this a real thing?
As far as I could tell, it's a... But they're always changing it. That's the thing.
Well, there's that, and, people with 3 million hours in paint can fake a lot.
True.
For instance,
I thought it would be fun to look at.
Well, for instance, I know that their version of Ghost Rider is not going to be Ghost Rider. It's going to be that dipshit kid with the car, which
is not a Ghost Rider.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it wasn't a bad start to a comic. Like, I read the opening, but they got nothing. It's just angry, flaming Spider-Man.
And again, it's not a Ghost Rider because he's driving.
Can we just revive the the series from like what was it, the 90s, where they had a ghost that would write like essays for people.
Oh, you want us to bring back Ghost Rider?
Yes.
I mean, that's how Marvel movies get made. So, what I want to... Why are they pushing Eternals again?
Because it worked so well the last time.
You mean because it didn't?
And I'm curious how they're going to do a Nomad movie.
Well, no, that one I know. That one's easy. Let's trim down the fat here. First of all, what the fuck is that in the lower left? What is that? I can't read it.
That's the Captain America New World Order, or Brave New World, or whatever they're calling it.
Okay. So what can we do without? We don't need Wonder Man. I know he's an Avenger, but
we can do without all of this.
No. I'm gonna be fair. I'm gonna let them keep some of it. Okay. Because arguably, I'm not gonna complain if they get Charlie Cox doing Daredevil and they don't fuck it up. But
they're not gonna not fuck it up though, Rune.
Yeah, I know. My expectations are low. Okay. I'll let them do New World Order. Fuck it. I don't care. Captain America is okay. Right? Blade, the jury is fucking out. Okay? Deadpool, it's around Ryan Reynolds' joint. He's been working on that real hard, and they're bringing Wolverine back. They got Hugh Jackman. That can't fuck up. Okay?
Right.
So then we gotta work through this. So Silver Surfer. I like the Surfer, but I never liked Norrin Rad's book particularly well, and I don't think it's going to work as a standalone. I don't think he's popular enough now. So
I don't know what story they would use.
That's the thing. I don't think a Silver Surfer series works. Okay. I would love a T-Bolts movie, but a T-Bolts movie needs to be like
after a proper Civil War.
Yeah, it needs to be contemporary with an Avengers thing, because you ultimately have T-Bolts versus Avengers. That's what you want, right? So I would scrub it because I don't think they've done the work. We don't need an Agatha Coven of Darkness. Fuck that shit. Okay. I don't know what Clutches of the Kingpin is, because
a Kingpin movie.
Well, yeah, but it's also a Spider-Man movie, and it's like, so what? Really? Okay.
Even though they've already had the Kingpin.
I want a good Fantastic Four movie. I want a good Fantastic Four movie so they can have the good Silver Surfer movie. But I don't think it'll happen. I think the Fantastic Four is kind of burned. Okay?
Yeah.
We don't need another Miss Marvel. We don't need another Nova. We don't need Nova. We don't need another Shang-Chi. We don't need What If. I mean, it's anthology based, but I honestly don't care. Okay? We don't need Vision Quest, whatever the fuck that is.
A Vision movie is my guess.
I would surmise, but his shit's kind of done. We saw his shit be done.
Right.
Right? So we don't need Eternals. We don't need Young Avengers. We don't need the Ghost Rider. We don't need Hercules. Sorry. And I don't know about these Avengers films. I don't know if they've actually done their setup to make me care. Okay?
They haven't.
So, do I want more Moon Knight? Yes.
Well,
do I think Moon Knight should be its own business? Yes.
They also have our Midnight Suns movie.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. Because
no,
here's the thing.
It's
our
Nick Cage
Midnight
playing
Suns.
5 people with Tom Hardy. That's going to be great.
Yes.
So here's the thing. Do I think an Armor Wars movie could be good? Yes. Do I think they're going to do a good Armor Wars movie? Fuck no. Because they're going to try and push what's-her-name. They're going to want us to give a shit about Ironheart, and I don't. And they killed Tony. Okay? Could a Nomad movie be good? Yeah, because Nomad's the Winter Soldier. That's Bucky. I could do a Bucky movie. I'm down.
No,
that actor's halfway decent.
Nomad's not the Winter Soldier, bro. Nomad is what happens when Steve Rogers kind of gave up on the United States Army and Shield, and kind of went as a man without a country for a little while. Like he was
Yes,
still
and
basically
there was-
Captain America in a black suit, but his shield was different.
And there was also a time when Nomad was Bucky. He ran around with a girl in a carrier.
Look, there was a time when Guy Gardner was a guy named Warrior. We just don't fucking talk about it here.
What are you talking about? Bucky as Nomad was great. The fuck?
You're talking to a guy who loved the run of Captain America, where Captain America was a werewolf.
I also
So-
like Cap Wolf. I'm saying both are good.
If I want to read Black Widow, I'll read Black Widow.
Sure.
And then we do so
But-
good Avengers Secret Wars, Church.
So
This proves that it's a fake list because that's never going to happen.
well, as a for instance, we're now looking at our what, 4th Hulk movie attempt?
Yeah.
Okay. No,
This
the
is
one
World War Hulk, which didn't. Oh no, that was Planet Hulk. Here's my problem, and this is probably going to be my final wrapping thoughts for the show because I need a cigarette.
well, can
After all this,
I say just one last thing? Because I want to say the movie that I think needs to be here the least is at the very tail end. And it's my
What,
problem.
Craven's Last Hunt.
We don't need Craven's Last Hunt because you haven't had a Cravenoff fucking movie. What the fuck? Craven was a Spider-Man standard villain for decades before the Last Hunt. You knew who
let
the
me
fuck
just
he
ask
was.
you.
You knew what
Let
the
me
fuck
just
he
ask
wanted.
you this though, like, how do you make Craven believable? How do you make, like, you see how they had to do the Rhino? The Rhino couldn't just be a really big dude. He
No,
had
no,
to be a fucking transformer.
No.
Mechanoid.
See, you're mixing chocolate and peanut butter here. Sony fucked
Because
gives
it's
us a
delicious,
Reese's.
Rune.
Oh no, it is delicious. But Sony fucked up the Rhino because they took Paul Giamatti, an amazing actor, and gave him 2 seconds of screen time as the Rhino. That's ass. Okay?
That is
You asked me, how do I make Cravenoff believable? And I counter to you, how did they make Jeremy Renner a really awesome Hawkeye?
They didn't.
They did.
No.
No, they did. His depictions in early Marveldom up to Infinity War or up to the first Avengers film rather are halfway decent. All right? They sell you on the idea that this is some spooky government dude with a specialty and you can believe it.
There you go,
Okay.
Rita. There's Cap Wolf.
You want to make Cravenoff believable? You actually adhere to his fucking story. He's an East European aristocrat who was a big game hunter that has hunted everything you could possibly hunt on regular, Earth and time, right? Who has gone to hunting ever more bizarre, ever more dangerous prey, up to and including people, right? Probably with an ever escalating range of technological advantages. And hunting people with superpowers is his actual bag now. Right? And Spider-Man is just the guy that kicks his ass repeatedly and sends him to jail. Because Spider-Man don't fuck around.
I mean, I'm with it. I just.
But the thing is that this hinges on the things that made the first Avengers run work in Marveldom, which is taking your time and being slow. Okay? You want to do a Craven's Last Hunt? You do a Spider-Man trilogy where you introduce Craven in the first movie, you have him appear in the second movie as a secondary antagonist, maybe you have him be a more major antagonist in the third, and then the fourth movie is Craven's Last Hunt, where Craven loses his fucking gourd and goes hardcore all over Spider-Man's face.
Well, in the original Craven's Last Hunt, he actually wore a Spider-Man costume.
Right, because he had lost his fucking mind.
Why is he a wolf? Why isn't he a wolf?
Because a guy named Dr. Payne and his nurse stole lycanthropy from either Jack Russell or John Jameson and infected infected Cap with it. I almost said infected Wolverine, but Wolverine becoming a werewolf was different.
He didn't really become a werewolf. He became a strange beast cat thing.
Right, but because of the high evolutionary. But no, Cap got injected with the super juice and became a werewolf for 2 issues before he got better. Dr. Payne is actually a great villain and will never get his shit in movies either. Oh, it's great. Because I'm a Morbius fan. It's like the second villain that Morbius meets in his single run, right? And he's like, who the fuck are you? What the fuck is this? What are you doing? And Doc Payne's like, it's so nice to be able to talk to another doctor. Let me tell you about all the horrible tortures and war crimes I'm doing to people for science.
And we're
Science
clipping that out of context.
Yes, we
Oh
are.
sure.
But
let me show you all my war crimes.
With that, I will give my final thoughts here.
Okay.
I don't think. I think the problem that we have is a problem that I've had with superhero movies from the get-go, and that being that you're never going to capture the magic of the original source material in these movies because the people who are adapting them for live television or for live action audiences, they don't give a shit. They don't care about that source material.
I know these are your final thoughts, Church, but I'll make this my final thought to round out. My perspective on it is a combination of superhero movies must have fidelity to their content. And I agree with you. They don't care, so they never will. Right? But they also must be good movies. Okay? Because if we go to the rudiments of the superhero bubble, okay? Blade's movie with Wesley Snipes was not made like a superhero movie, even though it is. It was made as an action horror movie. Because it was made to be a good movie first, and a superhero movie second. Okay? I actually do believe Sam Raimi gives a shit. That's why his Spider-Men were amazing. But Sam Raimi also wanted to make decent fucking movies. Right? And when we get to, well, why was Spider-Man 3 so awful? Corpo interference. It is always boiled down to corpo interference. And if people go, aha, but Multiverse of Madness was interfered with from the top down by Disney. Because if they had let Sam Raimi do it, the entire movie would have been like that scene where Wanda's chasing Doc Strange through a hallway as a zombie. Obviously, that's what Sam Raimi wanted to do, with something way more horrifying that they wouldn't let him do.
Ayrton, final thoughts?
Good night, everybody.
Oh, those are good final thoughts. Right, good night,
I mean, hey, we went an entire episode with no references.
I was expecting you to
Venus or
click
Alice
end
Moore.
podcast.